Your skill check assignment today will involve modeling decimals. I'm going to do some samples. You're welcome to print this sheet and do some practice with me before doing your skill check. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to model if we have 1 and 40, let's say 2 hundredths. So this is 1 and 42 hundredths. So notice we're going to start with our largest place when we go to model. We say, okay, we have to shade one whole. So each of these represent one whole. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to call this math shading. And if you do this, I know that you meant to shade the whole. That's going to just save you some time. So there we have the whole. If you love coloring and you want to take extra time and make it neater, to whatever level you want to make this whole neater, you may. But I know that represents one whole. Now the next digit, because if we look at this number in expanded form, I have the one whole. Plus, I'm going to use my skill of expanded form to say I have 4 in my tenths place. So my next thing I want to shade is 4 tenths. So I know each column, I could do rows if I wanted for those that want to be creative. Each column is 1/10. Notice I'm still math shading, but I have to be a little bit more careful because I'm dealing with a smaller amount. So here's 2 tenths. So I might want to list this as I go, that this is 1/10, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, and 4 tenths. So if I had listed these 4 tenths up front, here is a simpler and faster way to do it. I could have blocked off, outlined my 4 tenths. And you can see how this is going to go faster now. And then I can shade in all 4 tenths at the same time. So there's a little trick if you want to move a little faster. I have proved my answer here because I wrote my 4 tenths. I really should write my one whole over here to prove my answer. Now, I'm going to change colors just so it's easier for you to see. If you have colors at home, you're welcome to do your shading in different colors. So we have 2 hundredths. Here's 1 hundredth. And here is my 2nd hundredth. I'm going to prove my answer by showing that's 1 hundredth and that is 2 hundredths. So I have shaded 1 and 42 hundredths. So let's look at a different scenario. Let's look at a problem that goes to the thousandths, because you've probably noticed that I have the tenths, the hundredths, but inside of each hundredth, it's broken into thousandths. So here's a problem going into the thousandths. Let's shade 1 and 345 thousandths. So again, if I want to shade a whole, I can do my math shading. Like I said, if you have colors available to you, you're more than welcome to make it colorful. I hope that that makes it more fun. A lot of people do like doing math models because you do get to color. If you're not a big person that likes to color, then you can follow my math shading. It goes much faster than coloring perfectly. So there is my 1. So I can even put a little check above that because I know I shaded that whole in. Now, this one's not going to be shaded all in because I'm only shading 345 thousandths of it. So remember up here, I did 1. I was showing you how you could separate it out in expanded form. 1, I shaded, plus I shaded the 4/10, plus then I finished up with my 2/100. So here we've shaded our 1. So we can even say that here. I shaded my 1, plus I'm now going to shade 3/10 because I have a 3 in my 10th place. So that's going to be, there's 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. So you can see I can use that, outline it. I proved here that this is 3/10, and I can shade it, all 3 at the same time. Showing that each column is 1/10 and I'm doing it 3 times. Now I'm speaking in expanded notation, even though I'm writing this up here in expanded form. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is we're now gonna do 4/100. So I'm adding 4/100 now to my picture. So I'm gonna go ahead and block those off. So here I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there I have done my 4/10. 4/100. Don't forget that 0, super important. So this is 4/100 because I have a 4 in my 100th place. I can shade all 4 at the same time. Okay, now we're not done yet because we have a 5 in our 1,000th place. So that's decimal point 0, 0, 5. That would be those small lines. So I'm going to switch to my pink just so it shows up. And here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's even probably hard for you to see. Now, to prove it, just in case I might have colored outside of my lines, it's very important I prove to whoever is looking at this that what I shaded was 5/1000. So I have 1 whole, 3/10, 4/100, and 5/1000 that equals 1 and 345,000. Okay, last one example, I'm going to show you another way you can be asked to shade a model. Let's continue with our mixed number shading. So I'm going to continue saying we're going to shade this whole one in. I'm going to give you a whole. But now what I'm going to give you is I'm going to say we're going to do 1 and 7/100. So notice this is different than the other ones we've done so far. Yes, we start, and I like the pink one as my whole, so I'm going to use that one again. My marker is actually a little thicker on the pink one, so it's easier to do the big picture. So this is my 1 whole. I'm going to shade it in, kind of doing the math shading. Notice even with math shading, I am keeping it neat. I'm just not going for perfect, which is totally okay. I am not making it a mess. We don't want sloppy work. But math shading can make quicker work and make it more fun for those people that might not enjoy coloring as much. So right there I have my whole. Plus, the only part I have over here is going to be 7/100. Now, we have to pay close attention here because I don't have any tenths. I'm not coloring any columns this time. Or rows. I have, that's 1/100. Remember, each box is 100. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So there are my 7/100. I'm going to go ahead and shade them in. By outlining it can help you shade them in easier. I have no thousandths. So that's it, I'm done. This is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7/100. 1 and 7/100. hopefully that helps you. If you get stuck on your skill sheet, please reference this video, look back at how we did these so that you can complete your skill sheet successfully.